Hello everyone, Switched On here. I've decided to do a fair video about Grogar. As we first was introduced in the show on season 9 premiere, that Grogar, an ancient villain, had returned. And we have only saw him offer only sometimes briefly in season 9, throughout season 9, until the end of episode 24. The end of the ending, part 1. And when that was revealed, it was Discord in Grogar's disguise. But so the question here is, where is Grogar? We cannot even say for certainty if Grogar was even alive, because he is one of the few main villains from a previously generation 1 or 3, I think. But still, even that Grogar had returned, but when his later returned revealed to be Discord, as in disguise. So I wondered, so if Discord was the Grogar all along, what did happen to the real Grogar? Could he still be alive? Who knows? But there might be something else. Well, there were another brony by the name the Brony Notion. He made his video Where is Grogar? He thinks that Grogar could have been the 4 stars that helped Nightmare Moon to escape back in season 1 premiere. And I will leave that video in the link to his video in the description box below. But more or less, where is Grogar, and why did Discord take his appearance? But I think that Discord did that because he knew that most of the villains knows about Grogar. When we saw back in the season 9 premiere episode 1, when Crystal said, "The Grogar," and even Sombra has heard, "I heard about you." And even the Tirak, when he was young, he had heard about Grogar's tyranny rule over Questia. So, after that Grogar was defeated by Gusty the Great after losing his bell, so the question is, what happened to Grogar? Did he just disappear, waiting for his moment to return so that he would regain his strength after so long time? This is possible. But what happens? What if the Grogar manage to survive after Gusty took his spell and that he felt that he had no more power much to defeat Gusty, so he disappeared, waiting to gain his strength back, enough strength, and waiting to wait for his time to return. So what if that he did that? And that when Discord came to power and over Questia at some point in history, and that Discord could have ended up somehow either heard about Grogar or met him in person, and then somehow, let's say if that is possible, he made Grogar disappear. Not meaning that they're killing him, but just made him disappear, or maybe transform him to something else that he will never be bothering anybody else. Because some brownies might say Grogar had been Discord all along, even from the beginning, and that would mean that Discord had been in Equestria even before the founding of Equestria, even before the founders even came to Equestria for the first place. So that would not make sense. I mean, why would he disguise himself as Grogar? Because I don't think he even knew about the founders of Equestria would come to his land and somehow use their powers to form a new society. I don't think that means no way. But it would make sense though about one thing. If Grogar did actually were will and that he was ruling Equestria even before the founders came to the kingdom, that makes sense. It did a part, yes. But what happened to him afterwards? And what point of history was that when Gusty came to power, came to appear? If I had to say, that is very likely sometimes after foundation of the Equestria that Gusty and with his or her army, or at least soldiers of ponies, fought against Grogar, and at some point during this battle, Gusty took the bell and he realized that he has no more power enough to defeat the enemy, so he had to disappear to regain his strength once again. So the question is, where did he go, and what happened to him, and why didn't he think to have 1,000 years? After Gusty took his bell and hid it in the Mount Everhoof for over the time. I mean, there is just one of the puzzles that is still a mystery. Perhaps we will never know exactly what happened to Grogar and where he is. Because back in season 9, episode 24, the end of the ending is where we will find out that Discord had been using Grogar's disguise, and was T-Rex said, quote, "That was unexpected," end quote. He actually was very surprised and shocked to see that Discord were Grogar. So, but then, the question if that Grogar did disappear sometimes before even Discord came to power, how could he know about the bell? That is a thing that might be a possibility because it is very likely that he heard about the stories about Grogar, especially the bell, after that is after that Discord came to power. I mean, it's very likely that Discord heard about the bell sometimes after he became into power, and some opponents talked about this, or perhaps he was spying on the founders of Equestria, or at least spying on Luna and Celestia, and disguised himself as a pony, and read about this bell or something. But still, they were not probably like that. I mean, they would not be likely that Discord could just take a pony form and walk into the public library, because some of the sections are strictly limited to the even public. I think the book of Grogar's spell was in very strict area. But where is Grogar? That is the main question. I don't even know if I can answer the question myself, but my theory is that Grogar is pretty much still alive, even after it has been 1,000 years. But I think that Grogar is probably not in the Taurus, because that would be been seen by even them. So I think if there's a very possibility that Grogar, after he lost his bell, came across with Discord, and learning about even then Discord knew who Grogar were, and that Grogar had even offered him a deal. If he could make him powerful enough again, he would let Discord rule over Equestria, part of his realm. They would split the kingdom. One it has to Grogar's health, and one put that what Discord can do whatever he would want to do. So if Grogar offered that deal to Discord, but what if that Discord did what T-Rex did? Like, tricked him, believing that he was going to accept the deal, but instead, he used his powers to transform Grogar into something else, maybe as, I don't know, pass as a rock or something, and that he never be able to return back. And at some point in history, when Grogar, I mean Discord, after he had learned that Twilight was going to be the next ruler of Equestria, and that he wanted to make that her confidence to be stronger, that she can handle any sort of situation. So he decided to bring back both Kusuglo, Tirak, Chrysalis, and Sombra somehow to boost and to try to increase confidence of Twilight. To bring back one of the biggest bad guys in history. But what he didn't expect that Tirak, Kusuglo, and Chrysalis did find a bell and work behind his back, and which he could most. I think it's very likely that could happen, but still. So what happened to Grogar? My theory is that Discord came across with Grogar sometimes after that Gusty took his spell, and that even Grogar still had some of his magic, but was heavily greatly weakened after he lost his spell, because since the bell itself was the main source of his power. So what if that Grogar actually had offered Discord a deal to help him to regain back his spell, and even if he did that, he would give parts of Equestria to him so to do whatever he wanted to do, and that the rest of Equestria would belong to him. And knowing that Discord perhaps even back then were still as a bad guy, and even then overcrossed Grogar's by saying where the bell was located, but he couldn't get it back again himself. So what if that when Discord said, "You have a deal," and then suddenly snap his fingers and transforming Grogar from his current state to something else, maybe as a rock or maybe a small animal that would never gain his strength back, but who knows? Maybe he transformed into a rock or a small creature or something, maybe like a bug or something. Who knows? And that even with the knowledge of Grogar's spell still in his memory could have been later used in his personal gain, could he later used to help the trio to find and even try to make confidence for Twilight to increase better. My belief is that Discord came across with Grogar at some point after that Grogar lost his spell against Gusty, and that Discord overcrossed Grogar's deal and turned him either to a stone or a bug or an insect or something, and that Grogar had remained that form ever since, or has even passed away or some point after that. If he was transformed into a small bug, insect or something, perhaps he was passed away over time, or if he was transformed into stone or something. But that is not likely. I could say that Discord had overcrossed Grogar, and that he transformed into something like maybe as a rock or something, and that later used his knowledge about the bell's location in the future, where he was then reformed, and well, we know the rest of the story. So my theory is that Grogar came across with Discord sometimes after that he lost his spell, and that Discord overcrossed him and turned him into either a rock or something, and has been that ever since. That is one of my beliefs is where is Grogar, since we don't know exactly where, it has never been revealed, but only that we know for sure that Discord used Grogar's as disguise when he tricked, well, the minions, Tirak, Kotzeglo, and Chrysalis. So that is my theory about what happened or where Grogar could have ended up being. But if you have your own opinion, your thoughts about this, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, this is Switch Diablo, over and out.